Hello, Bible study brother. And this is the quarantine edition of the Bible Study Girl podcast. And here today we have Sarita, also known as Bible Study Girl. And we brought in Bible Study Mama as well. We are remotely located. We're social distancing. So if there are any, technical difficulties or anything like that, that is part and parcel of the reason. So we hope that you'll have a little bit of patience with us and charge our heads, not our hearts. And we're just gonna, talk about where we are right now and how we're coping. So, Bible Study Girl, lead your podcast.
Okay, thank you for that wonderful introduction, brother. We tried it the traditional way, and it just was not working out.
Nope.
So we had to switch. We had to switch things around. So because of COVID-19, we're all safely in our homes, away from each other, social distancing. So I thought it would be a great time for us to talk about our experiences, any fears or worries or concerns we might have about what's going on in the nation and the world, not just the nation. So I felt like this would be a great opportunity for us to get together and hash it out. And what better way for us to spend time together as a family and to see each other's faces while we do this podcast virtually? And let me just say, Bible Study Brother is not a big fan of seeing me in my natural element during the quarantine.
Well, first things first. How are you holding up? Because out of the two out of the three of us, and Mother, you can unmute yourself now. I don't know why you're muted, but
I just didn't want to interrupt. I'm listening because I always have something to say. So I'm just waiting for my turn to just pop in and say what I need to say.
Yeah. Well, all I just want to say is, how are you doing, Sarita? Because 2 out of 3 of the people on this call are considered essential. So we've been. It's been a. There's testimonies all around, but I wanted to start with you.
I'm doing as well as can be expected. March 13th was my last day of work. The development of preschool that I work at, I said work past tense because it's been so long, Lord. But the developmental preschool that I work at closed initially just for 2 weeks. But as the school closures were extended, my job decided to extend the closure. So your girl is just sitting around the house with no income, trying to make I'm going to use my grandma's words. I'm trying to rob Peter to pay Paul. It's a different experience.
Lord Jesus.
And also, I need to point out that my career, there are many, I could go work at a nursing home or a hospital, but I don't want to put myself in harm's way if I don't necessarily have to. So that's how I'm holding up right now. Do you want to tell the people how you're holding up, Bible Study Brother? Because Bible Study Mama is still on mute and walking through her house. I don't know.
I don't know what's going on here. Like we are doing a podcast.
Listen to y'all's testimonies. I mean, I
if you want, my mother, if you
have not said anything to me, you haven't asked me any questions. So just shut it and just answer the question your sister posed to you, little boy.
All I was going to say is, if you wanted to listen, you can listen every Saturday. The Bible Study Girl podcast drops. I'm okay. It's a mixed bag because it's a bit of a catch-22. Like, I'm blessed to still be working, but it makes it a little bit more difficult to me to create content on a lot of different platforms and stuff because, like, I want the time to do it, but when I get time, I'm wanting to, I need to rest a lot of times. And so it's just been kind of spiritually difficult in a way of like, okay, God, I can see now would be the time to build all of the platforms and things that you've given us to build. And I can't seemingly, or you know, at least from the viewpoint that I have currently of like it just being such tight times. You know, Lord Jesus, majority of the time has homework and stuff. So even though we're home, it's kind of like you're still to have a lot of that separation, you know, kind of not being able to see y'all. So, while I'm used to being isolated in this way, because I'm an introvert to the max, and, you know, I'm not like ultimately bothered by the quarantine aspects. I'm more so bothered by the fact that it's hard to kind of balance the fact that you're essential and the fact that you want to like just kind of go into overdrive mode for creative stuff, if that makes any sense.
It makes sense to me. I was going to rebuke something you just said, though. You said it makes it hard for you not to see us, yet you want me to turn my camera off.
I saw that.
Don't you miss my face?
No. I meant actually being your presence, blessed with your presence, where I can at least, I don't know, like, I don't know, man.
Well, I need your presence at my house because one of my ceiling lights blew last night, and I need, you know, that light put back up. You know, the one all the way at the top that you have to climb on the, like, almost to the roof. Not to the roof, but to the ceiling.
I have a light extension pole you can use, Mother. I need for him to be here so he can change my air conditioning filter.
You know,
important.
So as we can see, the spiritual things that are needed in this podcast have nothing to do, just honeydew work that is just
honey, we need you to do it. So Bible study mama, what has fake quarantine been like for you? Because you've been in these streets.
Fake quarantine.
You in these streets.
Number one,
like, we're both
it's not
essential.
a fake quarantine. I asked my director if he needed me to take some days off because our caseload in surgery is down because of COVID. So he said that would be nice. So I took this past week off. And 4 of those days I have been active in the community.
No, we know.
However, 3 of those days, Bible study girl has been active with me in the community.
We went to go work out.
Is this like the snitch? Like, why are you snitching on the podcast? Like,
well, she was
it's the strangest thing.
in the world, but I was not out by myself.
Oh man!
You know, we went worked out.
Guys.
Yes.
Both of you are so crazy right now. Listen,
we were out in nature.
We was out in these streets, non-social distance.
We were outside.
Mm-hmm.
We were literally out walking in nature. We didn't go to the gym. We went for a walk.
Did y'all get any what revelations from God have y'all gotten? Because I know I've gotten more time. In a sense, I mean, because like all we got is time to where literally days don't feel like Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. It just feel like whatever day this is. Like, you know, what day it is. I got
my biggest revelation on Wednesday.
Mm-hmm. Sure.
When we walked from Two Rivers to the Big Dam Bridge and back from the Big Dam Bridge back to Two Rivers, which ended up being right at 5 miles.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
There's an addendum to this story.
My daughter, sweet Bible study girl, didn't tell me that I had sweat so much that I had salt all around my mouth, all on my face. I looked like the salt shaker.
You want to know why she didn't tell you had salt all around you?
Why?
Because she told you y'all could have turned around way before that 5 miles, and you chose not to. Therefore, you reap what you sow.
Exactly. What was the point of me telling her that she looked ridiculous? Her, at one point, we were probably like 3.5 miles in when she was like, I've been trying to think of ways that you can go get the car and bring it back to get me because you're younger than I am. You're going to make it. I was like, this is a trail. It is not a freeway. It's not a street. I cannot drive to come get you. We have to make it back. So, yeah.
But we made it back, and I was down for the rest of the day. But I have, as you were talking about what I'm learning in this time of being by myself. Well, I'm by myself all the time, when I'm at home, because neither of you are here. So
tell us how you really feel.
A lot by myself. Huh?
Nothing. Keep going.
I mean, you have a whole life, and Sarita has her whole life with Fitz, and I'm just here by myself. So, and I'm enjoying it. Believe me, I really am enjoying it. I thought that
ain't what. Listen, this is an intervention. We're here to talk to you, Beverly. We're here to talk to you.
I'm here to tell you that this has been an interesting time for me. Mm-hmm. I am starting to cook again, which I didn't do for a long time. I mean, I didn't have any real reason because nobody was here. So I just pick up fast food. But since I'm also fasting, I've just decided that I'll just make stuff at home, which means I had to go to the grocery store and buy stuff because I don't have really food in my house because there's only me. So anyway, I started back to cooking. I've started taking time to sit down and do my Sunday school lesson every night and reading scriptures. I already do devotionals, and I always read Sarita's blog every morning for another point of inspiration. And I've started back watching TBN, Daystar, those kinds of programs again, where I had stopped for a long time. So I'm sure that next week it'll be a little bit different because I will be back at work and maybe not getting home as early, not getting home until after 5 or 6 or whatever. And so it's going to be a little bit different. I'll know next week how my life is really going to look after this. But I also did another thing that I hadn't done in a long time is to work in my flower bed. I went out and got 10 bags of mulch on Friday, thinking that I would be able to do all of that, because I used to do that without a problem. But all 10 bags of that mulch, it took me about an hour to get everything in the flower beds and get it sorted out and stuff. And when I say tired, I was exhausted. So
we normally do it together.
And I hadn't eaten all day. Huh?
I said we normally do it together. At least the mulch part.
I know that is a little family project that we do, but that was interesting. I've seen some things that I want to change and move around. I did move the water hose from one side to the other because it was a little bit more convenient. But anyway, I mean, that's just basically what I've been doing. Washing clothes, folding clothes, cleaning, that kind of thing.
Sorry, guys. There was a Fitz sighting.
It took you a long time to see him. I turned the camera around just so you could see him. It's been a long time. He came in here because he heard your voice.
Because he heard Lil Joe's voice, because when he hears mine, he runs.
He runs, but he hears Bible Study Brother. So he's like, where is he? He's not here, kid. It's just us. So I would say spiritually what I've learned or what I'm getting out of this time is that I really and truly have to totally depend on God. It is the prospect of my job being closed for 2 weeks was very scary for me because I was not prepared for a financial emergency or a situation where I would have no income for 2 weeks. So the 2 weeks was kind of like, but as the 2 weeks has expanded into like 5 weeks and maybe even beyond that, I am learning that I have no choice but to trust and depend on God, and that my job is just a resource. It's not the source, that God is the source for me. So that's what I'm personally taking away from this time. I'm not gonna say that I don't spend all day in prayer and meditation. I probably should. I probably should just like army crawl around my house and slather my body in oil and just be rolling around. But that's not what my day looks like. I am spending more devoted time in study of the Bible because I have the time. And I'm sure I could increase that, but that's what I'm learning in this season, to answer your question, Bible study brother.
Yeah. I've more so, I think, kind of like been learning patience. Because there's still a lot of adjustments that have to be made. You know, with the wife finishing her second year of film school, but in a very different way where you can't film. You can work on things, but it just makes everything kind of different. And with the landscape being kind of uncertain for us after school was out, because if you can't go out to film or kind of travel to places or have a lot of people there, then the dynamics of that are a little bit more complicated. So I've been looking for patience and looking for him to guide me. Because if I think about my finances, if I obsess over everything, well, then I'm going to get in the way. Because then I'm going to be doing all kinds of things that are not following his lead and not following his order. And that's where I've been at. It's been spiritually, because this is the most huge leap of faith in anything. It doesn't matter what it is. Like, you have to believe and know that he's going to take care of you. Whether you see it or not, however it is you see it, you just have to see it. So even, you know, with y'all kind of going back to nature and spending time outside, you know, mama thinking, well, feeling and knowing she wanted you to pick her up, but at the end of the day, she made it all 5 miles, you know, kicking and screaming and salt sweating. But
hey, I was not kicking and screaming.
She was sitting on the bench. If we found, she's like, "Oh, look, there's a bench."
There was but you know, the one thing that was, I'm cutting into your testimony, Joe, but there was one thing that was kind of, it wasn't funny, but it was really encouraging. I saw a coworker, an ex-coworker. He had hip surgery probably about 5 or 6 months ago, and he was riding 23 miles on his bike. So I'm like, I should be able to do this. If he can ride 23 miles and he had hip surgery, I think I'll be okay. But there was an older gentleman, I guess in like his 70s or something. He may have been in his 80s or whatever. But he was like, "Ma'am, now don't overdo. Don't push yourself. Just pace yourself." And every time he saw us, he would say something to the effect, "Y'all are doing good," or whatever, giving us words of encouragement, you know, for big girls, I guess. But
or he saw how bad you were struggling, but it's fine. He thought for sure, like, I need to give them encouragement.
I don't think I was showing the struggle. I think the salt was showing the struggle.
Your face was red. You were showing the struggle.
I mean,
that was like, because I was getting a tan also. I mean, I didn't think to bring a hat.
Ma.
So I'm a few shades darker. So, but anyway.
A few is correct. It's just a few.
Just a few.
Y'all can't see me. She's still white as sliced bread, but it's all right.
Whatever, dude. It's just like,
look at her cheeks; they're very red.
Look at her. It's just like whenever we go to the beach and we're out in the water for 2 or 3 hours, and I'm just not really paying any attention. And even though I put sunblock on, I mean, it's like I always just get roasted. Like I come out looking like a red lobster.
You do.
You do.
But anyway.
Well, this has nothing to do with testimonies, but you know, I really don't like words of encouragement when I'm working out. That bothers me.
I know. But he was really nice though, don't you think?
People are never rude when they're giving me words of encouragement. Like, listen, just let me do this. I don't think, it does something to me.
Yeah.
And I guess, my facial expressions, because the reason we kept seeing this man, this older gentleman, is because he kept lapping us. He walked up and down, he ran up and down the bridge. I don't know how many.
Yeah, I think I might encourage you to.
Yeah. He was pretty
He had a good heart. I know he was coming from a great place.
and he even apologized. He said, I hope I'm not offending y'all. Remember he said that?
Mom, I know he said that. That's what I'm
Okay.
saying. Like, sir, I know you are coming from a genuine place. I get it. I'm fine. She's not. Like,
I was fine. I don't. Oh my goodness.
so that was, before we went out, it had been probably 2 weeks since I had been like outside. But I've just been in the house. Like, I go outside to get my mail. And even that, I don't have to go outside because my mailbox is right by the door. So I just stick my hand out to get my mail and bring it back in. And that's not an everyday thing because it's just going to be bills in the mail. And seeing as how I don't have any money to pay them, I'm not in a rush to look at them. But I am holding fast to the fact that I know God is going to provide for me. My cousin, who is still working, has been very gracious to me. She will drop off food for me to make sure that I'm still eating. So I'm not going to come out of this. If nothing else, I know I will have food. Food, shelter. So those things are good. But I'm expecting God to perform some kind of miracle. And if this is the platform that he uses, then okay, I'm here for the ride. Let's see what happens.
Yeah, there's a lot to kind of navigate with through all of this. Like I know people are like going crazy. This is gonna be, a lot of kids maybe first Easter that they don't get to maybe go Easter egg hunting or see their family or go to a big church service and read speeches. And I mean, there's probably going to be ways that they do them, but not in the ways that they were probably expecting. The same thing like with all the schools closing, people losing jobs. Like there's a lot of things that are changing and that will remain changed. A lot of what the reports have been is this may be a seasonal thing that we just have to deal with for the foreseeable future. And yeah,
I really hate the fact that we're not able to see, like we've got a newborn in the family that we haven't been able, we're pretty good about visiting family and stuff, especially with new births and all of that. And then we also have one that's graduating from high school this year that we weren't going to get to go to his graduation anyway because they only had 5 tickets, but we were going to do something together, and it'll be the first time that we haven't shared Easter together. Yes, we were going to do it. I don't care what Jaden wanted. We were going to do stuff for him. So, but I mean, and it's the first time that our family as a group has not been able to go and share Easter together either. So this is kind of it's a different,
we got
it's a different feel, but I don't know.
Even with all those changes, though, I'm thankful that nobody in our family is sick. That is why I have been staying at home, because it would break my heart if I made somebody else sick or if I got sick. I was looking at the numbers from the news conference the other day and the percentages of people that got sick, and the highest percentage of people that contracted the virus in Arkansas, they had diabetes, like pre-existing conditions. Diabetes was the number one. Like, you have diabetes, you need to. So, trying to keep myself in the house. I did go get some vitamin D outside in the sun, but
actual vitamin
D.
Let's continue.
We do have one family member that is ill. I mean, he's on chemo and he's diabetic, and Um, he was tested for COVID, I think Tuesday. He wasn't able to take his treatment because his neutrophils and stuff are down. But even through that, um, God is still faithful.
Yeah.
And that's
He's
the
faithful.
one thing that we have to remember is his faithfulness in times of trouble. And I was talking to a friend today and just talking about some of the other issues that I have going on. And she was like, we've always been able to look back and see where God brought us from through any issues or problems or whatever that we've had. And this is just one of those other things that we can just look back and say, thank you, God. I mean, I don't even have to look back. I can look today and say, I do have a job. I may find out on Monday that I may be one of the people that's furloughed, but at this juncture, I do have a job. I'm just grateful. I really am just grateful. And one of the other things that I've taken the time to be purposeful in telling each one of y'all how much I love y'all and how proud I am of the things that you're doing in the kingdom realm to glorify God. Sarita with your blogs, Joe with you preaching, and for being the executive producer for her podcasts and all of that, and then the relationship that y'all have together, even though it was a struggle for some years, and now to see y'all where you are, I can't do anything but thank God, because it was only him that made any of that possible. So I'm grateful. I mean, this is a season of gratefulness. None of us have, I mean, even though Sarita is not gainfully employed at this juncture, God has sustained her. He continues to sustain her. And I truly am grateful to God for that.
That's one of the things I think is good, because like I said, there are so many different changes. We have a graduation that we can't go to on a lot of different sides. So Jalen's, Jamia's, and so it's been one of those things where, like you said, I'm thankful for the health of all of our different family members. I'm thankful for his covering for me, given that,
Amen.
I am still high risk, even without, having an immunal disease.
You're immunosuppressed.
Yeah. So that, and continuously being in contact with people, but also being able to help people in this situation where they may not be able to go to a bank. So being able to kind of help has been good. I had a testimony of, I had a lady ask me to pray for her at my job. She was just going through some things, and she began to cry, and I told her, hey, it's really okay, because she was saying she was sorry. And I always tell people, like, if you start crying in front of me, like, it's literally okay. We have emotions. I don't cover your emotions for my sake. Like, if you feel, you feel. That's just what being human is. We feel, and instead of the societal thing where we kind of make people feel like it's not okay. Given this time, we more than ever need to be more empathetic to one another, in a way that opens our arms and allows us space to actually heal one another, and kind of reach out to one another. And we just have to be more. While distancing, don't distance yourself from God. Don't distance yourself from praying for one another. Don't distance yourself from allowing yourself this time to seek him and grow, because there's something that he has to tell all of us. And if nothing else is apparent, that much is. And so, as always, please remember that there is a blog post for you every day during this that will uplift you and give you something to hold to. That is on BibleStudyGirl.com. You can contact her on Instagram at _BibleStudyGirl. At BibleStudyGirl Oh, I'm messing all my things up. Here we go. BibleStudyGirl.com. Dims the blog post. Bible Study Girl or underscore Bible Study. I was right. Underscore Bible Study Girl is for the Instagrams. Bible Study Girl, the number 2 is for the Twitter. And then to email her, it's going to be BibleStudyGirl2019 at gmail.com. So please make sure that if you have any comments or things you'd like to share with us during this time, I mean, you're in quarantine, share your testimonies. Give us your comments. We're in this together. We're going to make it through. We're going to come out on the other side of this stronger. And as always, remember that it is not just I preach. It's not you preach. It's not they preach. It's not us preach. It's we preach. So,
And
there
until
you
we
are.
meet again, guys, keep preaching.